Chapter 13. The Samsara Vriksha. The Tree of Life. Dis Swamiji. You said that Daham is Vayu and it is from this that all the other things originate. But I have heard it said that this Diha is the Annamaya Kosam, and that this Diha is sustained on this Annam, food, and that we can subsist only by eating this Annam, food. But if as you say, this Diha is only Vayu, there is no necessity to feed this Vayu with any food. What do you understand by the expression Anna? Dis, whatever that we take in, especially the food that we eat. Are you sure that you can live only by eating and drinking? Dis, yes. Has anybody died in this world? Dis, yes. Many have died. How is it, if, as you say, by taking Anna, people can live, why should they die? All these people have been eating Anna. Were they not? Dis, yes. They were eating food. How can that be? How can they die if they were feeding their body with Anna? But take it from me, people don't take the real Anna. It is only with the real Anna that you can live, but you do not know what the real Anna is. Anna is that which gives heat, and that is this Vayu, the life energy. For example, when a person dies there is the dead body. Does that dead body eat anything? Dis, no. Why not? Dis, because Vayu, the energy of life, was not in the process of asana in our body. So what is it in our body that is constantly undergoing the process of asana or dahana or pakhana? Dis, Vayu. This is the reason why it is said that our body is Annamayam, filled up with Anna. The world that we see around is nothing but the energy of this Anna. So what is this world? Dis, the world is the energy of Vayu. So, Anna is nothing but Vayu, the energy of life. It is only by consuming this Vayu we could live. That is why it is said that our body is fed and nourished by Anna. So, our aim should be to increase the wealth of this Vayu in us. If we do that we will not die. Dis, I have been convinced that this Vayu is our Daham, which is the real self in us, and it is from this self that the so-called universe is projected. But how is it that such a big world is projected from such a small being like us? It is like this. From a very small seed don't you see a big tree growing out? Our relationship with the world is similar to this. You have seen a banyan tree. This is one of the biggest of the trees in the whole world. Its seed is a very small one, about 1/4 of the size of a mustard seed. It is from such a small seed that a big tree grows up. If there was no seed like that, then the tree cannot grow up. The big tree is contained in the small seed. The tree sprouts out from within the core of the kernel, splitting the outer shell. After it so sprouts out, both the kernel and the seed are no more there. In the same manner, the core of the kernel in us is our Jiva, and our mind is the tree that grows out of it. The outer shell is the ahamkara. The mental tree sprouts out from the core of our Jiva and spreads out through the outer shell, the ahamkara. We call it a seed only so long as the core of Jiva is encased in the outer shell, the ahamkara. This seed of the banyan tree is inside its fruit. If from the fruit the seed is taken away, you cannot have a tree from the fruit alone, because there is no seed in it containing life. Just as the banyan tree grows up and bears fruits, our mental tree also grows up and bears fruits. The banyan tree puts on its blossoms in between the shootings of 2 tender leaves. It is here that the blossoms turn into fruits, which fall down and give rise to innumerable other trees. But all the blossoms do not bring forth fruits. About 7/8 of the blossoms perish. Only about 1/8 bear fruit. Even these fruits do not all become ripe. Before that time they perish in some way or other. They also have the phenomenon of conception and childbirth. You have seen the leaves on the banyan tree. They are often seen shooting out like twins. It is in between these 2 tender leaves, as mentioned above, that the buds appear which open out into blossoms. These tender leaves contain a smearing of some reddish juice. The trees contain a whitish sap. With the aid of air, the whitish sap from the stem gets mixed up with the reddish juice of the leaves and the buds are formed. The buds turn into flowers and flowers turn into fruits. In a similar manner, our mental tree also functions in the act of procreation. In between two leaves, when the secretion of a reddish fluid is begun in human beings, the mental tree sends its whitish seeds with the help of Vayu and both mix together and conception takes place. This human fruit gets ripened in about 9 or 10 months and it also falls on the ground. If this fruit does not contain the seed, the life, we bury it in the ground. But if it contains the seed, we preserve it, and it is from this fruit that another mental tree grows up, which in turn brings forth its own flowers and fruits, and soon. But all human trees don't bring forth fruits. If you are a careful observer, you can say with an amount of certainty which flower brought forth which fruit. But since we cannot see the mental flower, we cannot say from which flower the child has come out. Similarly, there are some trees where the flowers are not seen, but all the same the fruits begin to appear. Such trees put on their flowers during night time, and by day break the flowers turn into fruits. You cannot exactly say when they blossom. If there is no darkness, the flowers cannot appear. In the same manner, the mental tree through the dark ahankara blossoms forth, and within a short time the fruits takes shape in the womb. If there is no ahankara, there cannot be any sex act. You cannot say in the human beings which flower brought forth which fruit, because the sex act takes place through this ahamkara. If you destroy a tree, you also destroy the chance of an innumerable number of other trees coming into existence. In a similar manner, if you destroy this mental tree, you also destroy the chance of many other trees coming into existence. This mental tree is known as the samsara vriksha, the tree of life. This tree bears fruits. These fruits fall down and become trees and bear fruits, and so on the cycle of procreation goes. This world that we see around us is a growth of the mental tree, just like the banyan tree that grows from the small seed and spreads its branches which firmly get rooted on the earth. It is under this mental tree that Dakshinamurti, the Lord of the South, the great teacher, takes his seat. Dis, O Guru. We see the banyan tree standing on the earth. I see human beings also standing on the earth. I see myself standing on this universe. Such being the case, how can you say that the world is in us? Kindly enlighten me on this point. To explain this, I will give you another example. You take a pot, fill it with smoke. Close it and keep it in a room. Can you see the smoke? Dis, no. Why not? Dis, because the smoke is sealed inside the pot. Suppose we close the doors and windows of the room and open the lid of this pot. Dis, the smoke spreads out throughout the room. Then where would the pot appear to be standing? Dis, it will appear to be standing in the smoke. Originally, was the smoke inside the pot or the pot inside the smoke? Dis, the smoke was inside the pot. It is like this. So long as the smoke was not let out, it was in the pot, but when it was let out, the pot got surrounded with smoke and gave an appearance that the pot was in the smoke. But the truth was that the smoke was in the pot. If there was no smoke inside the pot, the smoke could not have spread out. In the same manner, from within you, your mind, just like smoke, spreads outside, and just as the pot was seen to be in the smoke, you also appear to be in this world, which is nothing but mental projection, like the smoke from the pot. This mental smoke originated from the fire of Jiva. If there is no fire, then there could be no smoke. In the same manner, if there is no Jiva, there could be no mind. Not only that, if there is no self, there is no world. When you are sleeping, you don't have a world. That was because your mental smoke had not spread out. When you wake up, just as the smoke came out of the pot, your mental energy flows out of you and spreads. When you wake up, the whole of the details of the world do not present themselves to you all at once. It is you who recount and decipher them one by one. If the mind flows out more and more, you see more and more. In the course of this process, the life within you completely burns out, as mental smoke, and your body is no longer sustained in the smoke that came out of you, and you are said to be dead. Then there would be no world. Just as the smoke gradually gets emptied from the pot, leaving the pot empty, the life also gradually ebbs out, leaving out the corpse behind. This is what is called sath, essence, going out, or the state of death. The jiva residing in the bodily pot burns out as a mental smoke. This is really the phenomenon called death.